All right.
Happy Wine Wednesday.
Wine Wednesday.
Here we go.
Here we go. I sunk in my couch.
Yeah.
Let me get it right. Oh, that's better.
Good.
Good stuff. All right, so, hey, that's kind of fun because I'm tagged in the video. It says, would you like Rick to join the video?
Let's add him in here.
So,
Let's add him in here.
welcome on, Jordan. Hey, Sherry.
Hi guys.
Holly, welcome on, guys. Kelly
Hello,
Barnes.
Brewer.
All right, so it is Wine Wednesday, and Wine Wednesday is our personal development drinking game and also our cheat day with a purpose. I think the reason we have this is we can get into our topics and mindsets, Everything is a Choice, which is my book on Amazon and or justamilday.com. Sorry, I dropped your glasses.
That's okay. Don't use them anyway.
That's true. And then also we get into our topics, our mindsets, and our stuff like this. Have some drinks with you guys and show that you can also have cheat days and stay healthy without having to have such a rigid and strict schedule to be able to find health and happiness. And so
yes. And have a little fun. That's what
maybe,
we do.
Hopefully you get to giggle at our antics a little bit.
So here are the rules. First of all, grab your glass.
Cheers to you.
If you see a sassy look from one of us, mostly coming from this direction, call it out with a cheers or wine glasses or whatever you choose.
Put the
and
emoji up.
we will drink to that.
We'll drink with you also. We have awesome moments and you're like, hey, cheers to that. Throw them up there and say, hey, cheers, and we will all drink together. So I know a lot of you are jumping on for your teams. It is Rocktober, and you have been rocking Rocktober, so I'm glad that a lot of you are on. And for those of you it's your first time, feel free to grab your drink, jump in with us, because tonight's a special night. We are doing something a little different.
Yes. Tell us what we're doing.
I will. All right. Well, first, cheers to you. Cheers to all of you. Welcome to the show.
Cheers.
And tonight we are going to do something a little different. We're just gonna hang. And we're gonna ask you questions, you ask us questions, and we'll just get into it. It's not gonna be getting into a topic like expectations, getting into relationships, getting into love languages, getting into overcoming fear, getting into the stuff that we've gotten into over and over. Now I think we'll just get into our stuff. What are we doing? What are you doing? Let's talk about your best parts of your day.
Right.
What's the best part about what we're working on next for you? And very cool stuff that we've got coming on. Good job to the teams. We do see you guys racking up your points, making sure that you guys are on. The next question is for those of you who don't want to hang out with us, which gives me a sassy look. You don't have to stay on. Yes, you can jump off. So feel free. Once you got your points, go on with the rest of your night. For those of you who do want to stick around, go ahead and throw up some questions, throw in some things and topics that you want to hear about. Otherwise, we're going to just talk and hear from you too. We're looking forward to hearing more from you.
Here he is.
Thank you.
Gosh. I'm going to put him behind you.
Whiny dog. Oh my gosh, Apollo.
He started like coming over. I could feel my arm pushing down and pushing down and pushing down.
He's very needy.
He is needy.
Both of them.
That's okay. All right.
So, I would love to hear anything from you guys. We did do sassy face. Cheers to you.
Oh, I'm
cheers.
like, what is it?
Dog gave us sassy face. Cheers.
That wasn't even a cheers. Cheers.
Drink again. Okay.
You like literally bumped my finger and we're like, cheers.
It's because you didn't do it right.
I'm older than you,
so that means you should be better at it.
Yes.
Why aren't you good yet?
Okay. So, moving on.
So, feel free to jump in, have some fun with us. I think some cool stuff we can get into is let's talk a little bit about things you've been working on. And you're always asking me questions. Let's get into some of your stuff. So I know that you've been putting up some posts. You've been working periodically on remembertobreathe.online, which is your blog.
Yep.
Some people have read some of the stuff you have on there, and it's pretty darn good. So tell us a little bit about what it is that you're like, this is where I see this going. Here's what I hope for it. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, great question. And you just put me on the spot.
Yeah,
so,
right on. This is no messing around. No prep work. You're in it.
Here's the thing. So I launched my blog, I don't even remember when it was, in August, I think. And it really is based on my journey. You'll see on there my journey of figuring it out. in my blog, I don't claim to have all the answers for things. I know that I do not. But this is really a look into my life and the things that I've been going through the last couple years. And I have a lot to share, and there's still a lot more that I will be sharing as far as just many different topics, like being a mom, raising kids, you know, as a single mom. What does the divided house look like? What happens when you start dating again and you introduce someone to the kids, and that whole process? There's a lot. There's a lot I'll be sharing, and then I'll get into more, you know, definitely more motivating and positive things as well. You know, going through my weight loss journey, how do I continue to keep myself focused and continue to encourage myself and encourage others to continue to move forward, because not every day is fantastic, that's for sure.
What?
But I try to make it as good as I can.
Every day's not perfect.
You know, thanks for, you know, asking me this question. I'm sure, you know, I always have a lot to say, but there's a lot to be continued, I guess, is the...
Okay. Well, what's the goal? You've been writing this thing and you're putting things out there. What's the goal for it? Not just for everyone else, but also for yourself.
So my goal really is to continue to just share a little bit and hope that my journey and my story ends up helping somebody else that's going through the same thing, you know, and I've been able to see that already, and I'm super blessed to say I've had women that reach out to me that are going through a similar situation and want some help and understanding of, you know, different things that they can do or should do. And by no means do I give them my opinion, but I don't really necessarily give people advice. I say, you know, this is what worked for me, you know, just something to think about. It's definitely an unbiased opinion. So for me, it's really about just doing whatever I can to help somebody else. That's truly the reason that I started doing this, is to help other people and to let them know I once was the person that didn't believe in myself, that was overweight, was tired, didn't have any energy, and then ended up in a life kind of spiraling out of control, gained a whole bunch of weight, then got a divorce, and it was like one thing back to back, and here I am sitting in front of you, and I never thought in a million years I'd be where I'm at today, considering what my life was like over 2 years ago, and being the person also that would hear someone else say, you know, if I can do it, you can do it too, was always nonsense to me. I'm like, you don't even know my life. Mm-hmm. And now, I've said this many times, now I'm the person that's saying that. You know, if I can do it, you can do it too. And that's what I truly am very passionate about that. You know, so many times as women, we tend to give ourselves, we're overwhelmed a lot. We have a lot of things going on. And we have kids, we are married, we have work, and we're trying to keep everything together, but also be able to take care of ourselves too. And it's extremely tough. And when I say if I can do it, you can do it too, I truly mean that, because I have a very busy life, and you end up just figuring it out. You have to reprioritize your priorities and figure it out. You know, there's a solution to most things. And as a woman, that's my goal, is to help other women to be able to see it too. Like, there is hope for you. Like, you're not stuck in the position that you're currently in. There is a way out. There is hope, and I'm always here to encourage everyone. So
yeah, that was good. Way to go.
Thanks.
Cheers to you on that.
Yeah. Midpoint, I think the vodka kicked in.
Oh, well, thank you, vodka. On Wine Wednesday. No, that's good. I do encourage any of you who haven't gotten a chance to check it out yet. It is on remembertobreathe.online. That's her blog that's up right now, and she does get into some of the backstory.
And something else I just want to share too, because, you know, now my blog's been out for a couple of months, and I keep getting this question a lot. Not a lot, I'm being dramatic. A handful of times.
You got it twice.
But it is a fair question. People have asked me, are you nervous about your kids seeing this? What happens if other people see it? Is that something you were ever nervous about or scared of? And to be honest with you, yes, I was. And in October last year, a year from now, I was in a hotel having a personal development meeting with myself. I took the weekend and just literally just did personal development. And that's when I started writing. And here we are. Back in August is when I launched it. And part of the reason was I was nervous, scared. What would other people think? You know, having family, like I'm open and honest in my blog, very open and honest, very transparent. And I was very nervous about what people would think. Even my own sister, you know, even giving her the login, like, oh gosh, here we go, you know, and my eyes were closed because there was a part of my experience that I went through that not necessarily I was ashamed, but I don't know if I ever let people in to really understand who I really was and what I was actually going through. And so, yes, it did take me a while to actually put it out there in the open. And I will tell you, in August, that was when I made the decision. I'm like, no more. Like, I can't hide behind my life. Everyone has their own situation that they're going through in their own life that they're going through. No one's life is perfect. It's just who chooses to talk about it and be open. And I think that's where a lot of the opportunity is for so many people, specifically women. You know, it's easier just to not talk about it and not face it, because facing it and putting it all out there in the open is very scary. And that's what I did. And ever since then, you know, in August, I continue to move forward, put out blog posts, and continue to share my story. And at the end of the day, I keep saying, you know, it's my life. If someone doesn't like it, they don't have to read it too. Like, it may not be for everybody, and that's okay. And I think that's where I have to remain strong in, because not everyone's going to love it. And someone may have bad things to say, and that's okay too. They're supposed to. So I just had to get that out there.
You had to say it. It was said.
Thank you.
Good job. And I think it's really good. I think that you're doing a great job being able to show by example the things that we tell people to do, for people to be able to say, like, I'm just afraid to put it out there. And not in a way that's supposed to be like, what's the new thing they're doing online where people are putting their dramatic stuff out there so everybody gives them attention. I don't get that vibe from your blog at all, that you're trying to get like, oh, feel sorry for me, because a lot of it's not negative. It's back and forth, like, here's the real story, and then here's a better way to see it.
Right. And I think it's also the process of what I went through. That is truly a fact of what I went through. And you'll see in my blog too, there are parts that I take blame for as well. There's parts that I take ownership for. A marriage is a two-way street, and that's most of what my blog is about right now. But I take fault for things too. I wasn't perfect either, you know, and I think that's also the other part of it, taking ownership, because that gives me a chance to continue to heal from that experience. So
that's a big part of it. I think that there's just between us on that one, you know, just don't tell anybody that I said this. But no, I think that it's an interesting thing I've been researching too, and exactly like you said, if you take accountability for your part in these relationship dynamics or friendships or things that have failed, or a work relationship or a love relationship or a marriage or friendship, whatever the situation is, things happen, and you hear people tell the story as though this happened to me. Mm-hmm. They were just a jerk, or I was in an abusive relationship, or they cheated on me. Mm-hmm. And like, it's the parts where we try and make it out where everything happens to us. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest part of where, you know, we get into when we're talking to people, especially in the Choices program, where we go like, look at the part where you can own your part of this. Like, you were the one who did the interview. You're the one who stayed with that person for so long. You're the one who did these things. And so the more it seems on you, the more we dial down the drama.
Well, of course. And I think, because in just speaking from marriage or a failed relationship or whatever it is, you know, there always is so much emotion behind it. And so even though you may know that, to say it is a different thing. And when there's a breakup or a divorce, there's so much emotion behind it. You don't want to see what you did wrong ever, because if the other person, you feel like they hurt you, that's a true feeling for you. And it does feel very real, and it's very easy to put the blame back on that person, especially when it's something a little bit more severe, you know, that they maybe have done to you. And it's not always, you're not able to see it right away, but I think that as time goes on and as healing goes on, and I've now been separated almost 2 years, I'm at that place, you know, where I can actually have a conversation with my ex-husband and not want to, like, choke him in moments. sometimes. But it's all a process where you have to get to that point, and now being out of that type of relationship, you'll start to see, like, okay, your eyes start to open up a little bit more. You can look at it a little bit more objectively and not so emotionally. And that's hard especially when it happens at first, to look at things logically. You don't want to, nor should you have to. You have to work through it on your own time during your own process.
If that's how you want to do it.
I know you disagree, right?
I think you already know that I think that the options are always there, and I think that we use some of our special words to mask the options not being there.
Right.
I was
also,
emotional.
We're gonna fight. So
okay.
Here's the thing, though. Like, you see it from so much of a logical perspective, which is fine. I see it from a more emotional side, which is also fine. And when you're in that moment, the emotions do take over. It may not be the right thing to do according to some people, but it is realistic to be that way.
I didn't say it wasn't realistic. I think that the interesting thing is when people go through things and say, because I was emotional, those options didn't exist. No, the option was still there. You just were so in your own stuff, you didn't see that as a viable one.
Right.
And so that's the part where, like, when people start going like, oh, you don't understand, I was so upset that I couldn't do it that way.
And
you could, you just weren't able to prioritize as that's the way you want to handle it.
Sure, but also very quick to be able to tell someone how they're supposed to handle it or what should be way that's logical when you haven't been in that specific situation too.
I still call nonsense on some of that. Just because someone didn't have your exact specifics doesn't mean people can never understand your plight. That's something that I call kind of bullshit on a lot of people. Everyone thinks, well, it wasn't your exact situation. Well, you didn't have that outfit on like I did, so you could never understand my struggles.
When there's something that is a little bit more extreme that happens to you, and it physically mentally has never happened to you, it's hard for you to put yourself in that position if it's never happened to you. You don't go through all the emotional feelings. So it's easier to look at it from a logical perspective. When you're not in it, it's easier to look afar. I mean, how many times do we give our opinion to somebody else, but we don't take it ourselves, right? It's kind of the same thing. Much easier to always look at it. We can be empathetic, but you truly do not know unless you've been in someone else's shoes. You can give the right advice, but you really don't know until you're in it.
That's fair to a degree, and I think we're talking about different things. You're saying, can you have the empathy to feel the feelings that somebody has in a specific one moment of a life? That doesn't resonate with almost anybody. I can't think of anything where like, well, my specific thing, you have to have my feelings to have an awareness of my choices. Well, no, I can still see what your options are regardless of what your feelings are. You can either get pissed off and break all your stuff, or you can chill out and maybe talk to somebody about it.
Sure.
Your options still exist. I don't care what state you're in emotionally, your option to handle it is still going to be the same. And so while people will hide behind, and I call it hiding, gonna hide behind, you can never understand how I felt, you didn't go through what I went through. But that doesn't eliminate your options to choose things. It just makes you hide from them.
It doesn't eliminate your options, knowing that your options are already there. My point is, it's harder to see it when you're in those moments when the emotions do take over.
True. I agree with that. That's 100%. You're right. When you're in it, it's difficult for yourself to see the options. I agree. Completely agree with that one. So that's why it's tricky when somebody who's outside, who's like, I do see your options, and we give our excuses why we don't listen to the options that we have from somebody who's not deep in it, and we hide behind, well, you could never know how I feel because you never went through what I went through, doesn't change your options. It just means you don't want to go and do one of them because you're going to hide behind the feelings that you are having.
And it's race to acceptance that needs to happen. Some people are slower than have a race to acceptance. People need to go through their emotional process in order to get to that point. It's not like this happened, this is how I handle it, and this is what I'm done. Like I'm done with, right?
Sure.
That's all very logical. That's not how most people work. A lot of people work in the way where you have to go through the process of going through something, especially when it's traumatic, to get to that place where you do see it. We all know the options are there, but as you're going through it, emotions do take over. You have to work through that in order to get to the options that are there.
Yes. Yeah, and I'd never said there's no emotions. And I'm simply stating that the idea of things that you can do still exist. It's just if you have an emotional response that makes you choose something that hurts you or hurts others. It's the blame, I think, that we do. We blame our emotions for the things that we choose to do. And that's the part where I do struggle with, you didn't want the outcome that would come from the choices that you were making, but you had to blame something intangible that you can't measure, you can't see, you can't do anything with, to say that's the reason why I made that decision, and everyone should just accept it because you've never been in my position.
Not that everyone should accept it, but I think it gets down to, I mean, how many times do you hear people say, I would have never handled it like that, or, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they did it that way, or they actually did that to somebody else. You don't really know unless you're in it. You don't. In everyone's situation, it's so much easier to say, I would have handled that differently. I wouldn't have done that. You don't know until you're in it.
Maybe. I believe that people have the amazing ability to have an empathetic moment where what we do is we say, what would I do in that situation? And we can imagine what would I do in that situation. Now, it doesn't mean that we have the full spectrum of having to deal with it, but we can still go, if I was in your shoes, what would I feel then? We can still do that. We can have an imagination.
Of course we can.
That says, I would handle that a little differently.
Of course, but it's never going to compare to actually being in it. It's just not.
I guess what is your point to that? I guess what do you mean if you're going to stay in the place of you could never understand how I feel unless you've been where I'm at? What do you think that the point for that would be?
My point is that there is an emotional attachment that people have to their own things that they have to go through.
Right.
And my point of saying all of this was that your comment was, being able to see the choices that are around you. Mm-hmm. And you also said that you disagreed that unless you're in it, you can't understand it. And that's where I'm like, no, you have to be in something to fully understand the emotional energy that you give something. You have to. That's my opinion.
That's your opinion.
Absolutely have to.
Respect your opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think it changes what your options are, but I respect your opinion that people will have the emotions.
It doesn't change what your options are. I think the timing of what that is different.
Of course.
So the timing of you working through your emotions, a race to acceptance to see what it is different. It's like someone telling you when you go through a traumatic experience, just get over it already.
I agree.
You don't know what that's like. Don't tell me to get over it already. Let me go through my process in the time that I need to go through it.
I understand that. I agree with that. I just think that it's the thing when people go like, I'm going to stay in it because you've never been through what I've been through, or they introduce themselves as someone who's been through this thing, or that's become my identity because I didn't deal with it. It was always an option to be able to. But
I think that's different. It's right, but I think that's different. If you go through a situation for 2 years or whatever, and you're holding on to that identity, and it becomes more of a victim mentality, depending on what it is, are you seeking help or are you not? And I think that's the thing. If someone's proactively working through their own challenges or situation, it's different rather than just saying, I want no help, I'm not trying to get better, I'm not trying to work through this, and all I want to do is complain. That's different.
Right. Yeah. I very much agree.
Thank you.
Nice job. Good job on that one. Let's see what some of the people are saying. You guys are talking, and I love that you're interacting.
Me
so let's
too.
get into
let's
some
see
of
what
it.
they say.
All right, Selena says, I believe we can have empathy and compassion for folks without ever fully understanding. I always had compassion for those affected by suicide, but never understood until I lost my BFF.
Yeah.
And that's a good example. And
yeah.
and I can relate to that because you can see the empathy that you would have towards people in those situations, but then when you're in it, it's different. And
yeah.
I think that's what I was saying is I'm not saying that those emotions don't happen. I'm just saying the availability to see our choices in those moments is difficult. It doesn't change the choices, but it's difficult to see them when we're in that emotional state. But that's a good example. Thank you for sharing that, Selena. What do we got here? We got absolutely people have to handle things in their own time, for sure.
Absolutely.
It's hard to dig yourself out of emotions, especially depression.
That's true.
You can imagine, but never know how you will actually react until you are in the situation.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have helped people out of depression. I'm just going to put it out there because our mindset training has
It's
actually
incredible.
broken people's depression. And it is there are steps that we've done that have been working. And so I can challenge a little based on our results that we've seen. Emotional and other, like you can prepare for their house catching on fire, but to forbid the moment come, you may react in a way that you have
Absolutely.
that you have not trained.
It's very true. A lot of good comments
some good
tonight.
ones. I'm not sure what the topic is exactly. I believe that we have empathy,
Yes.
but when we are in it, we often wear horse blinders.
Absolutely.
That's so true. We usually need help taking them off. We just need to be patient and non-judging when which are often the hard part.
Absolutely.
And
Agree with you.
And that's the part that I'm saying on this is it doesn't mean the options don't exist. We do just close off. And that's where you're saying the emotions make it difficult to be able to go through it. I agree. It doesn't change the choices. It just changes the way you perceive the choices.
Right.
And that's the part about it that where, even though Amy was saying that there's the training that you'll have, but then when you're in it, do you respond the way that you've trained or not? And that's what the Everything's a Choice training is. And we have, and I'm not even, this isn't boastful, we have people in our mindset training group who came in with depression who are not in that same state in the slightest bit. It's not even close.
Yeah.
And we have taken steps that are working to give awareness to the things that you're saying to yourself that are continuing your depression. And it's choices that were always there, and the therapists have all said the right things to say, and the memes all say the right words. But until they were able to put the words into an action that made sense for them, it wasn't able to work.
Right.
And they did take their power back. And that's something that I do want to encourage people to understand, that some of the things really are just how do we perceive what the options are. It doesn't change them, but if you think something's difficult, then it will be. And if you think you can do it, well, you can. And we found those things also.
Mm-hmm. We do have so many, we have people in the mindset training that have said, I've went to counseling for so many years, and I connected with this. I connected with the mindset training, and it's so powerful. And I know, for speaking from experience, but it is so powerful to see these people that are doing it and see their physical transformations, but also see from day one how they were talking about what they were going through till now. It's a completely different life perspective.
Not even the same.
Completely different. And just the separate messages that we both get about how this is really helping them, it's truly why we do what we do. And he puts in all the work for mindset training to build this thing out, because it's helping so many people be able to see their options, take their power back, and have the awareness of, do you see what's happening, and where are we going from here? So it's very powerful. If you guys haven't yet, highly recommend you guys sign up for mindset training. It's wonderful.
It's powerful. It's been working. And so Amy, you're very interactive. I like this.
Love it.
It doesn't change your options. It does change when you see the options. How and when you see the options. That's exactly the point. And I think that's the point on all of it. I think you're absolutely right. It is what it is. It's just the way we perceive what it is.
Yeah.
That's kind of everything. It really is everything. And I think that's the training, and that's where I've been doing so much research and studying and doing my own journey through emotional intelligence, of being able to go like, how much emotional energy am I giving this decision that I'm making? And it's not to say that like my life is just always, I've never had any struggles. I've never had any troubles on anything. You've been to 2 funerals in the last handful of months from my family. We've had death, we've had loss, we've had major tragedy, we've had extreme setbacks. Things are not always wonderful all the time on this side, but It's our ability to recognize our emotional intelligence towards the options that we have. And it's made it so we can race to acceptance. We can see what our choices are and then be able to take our power back, even in our own most difficult moments. And we both have them. You know, we've both had to talk each other back off the cliff because we're like, I'm gonna jump, I'm so emotional. You're like, hold on, that's not that bad, we got this.
So,
you know, and we both have done it.
It's so true, and I have to share this story really quick because it truly is my life and what it's like. Because I'm
You're hilarious.
very stubborn. I'm very stubborn. Like I really am. So yesterday morning on my way to work, I was talking to him. We were having a whole conversation just about work.
You were overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. There's a lot going on, right? And so I'm like venting to him. And sometimes I vent. I don't need a solution because I can usually find my own solution, figure it out. But I was like venting to him. It was just like one of those days, right? And so we're on the phone. He's giving me all this pep talk and all these things, and I like half want to hear it and half really don't, because I'm like, don't tell me you don't understand, right? One of those conversations.
You don't understand
my
feelings.
phone rings in the middle of the conversation. It's someone else that I work with, and I had to put him on hold.
Hold on, you're missing a major part of
What
the
is
story.
it?
All right, so just so you guys can know what was actually happening in this conversation,
Just don't give too much information.
She was going, I'm struggling with this thing, and I'm like, that's not that big a deal. That's just one of the things on the list. Well, what about this thing? And I'm like, yeah, but you delegated that to somebody else. It's not even your stress anymore.
Like, but
what
you
are
don't
you doing?
understand.
You're like, yeah, but next week I have got this thing, and I'm like, that's next week. Calm down. That's not even today's list. Like, I was just doing that thing. Like, she's like, you don't understand. You don't understand.
He didn't.
And then
Didn't
she
understand.
got a phone call from somebody that works with her doing the exact same thing to her.
Wait for it.
And then,
Wouldn't you know? I was like, here, let me tell you what you're going to do. You really have to just make sure. Let's talk about this. Let's take one thing at a time.
That's just on the list.
Let's take a deep breath. What can we delegate? Not everything needs to be a priority, right? Who am I? I got off the phone. I called him. I was like, listen to this. Funny how that works, right? I'm like, don't you tell me I have it figured out. I know. Let me just vent and complain and then find my own solutions because you'll never understand. And then I answer the phone call and I'm like, oh, interesting. Interesting. I have it all together over here. Let me help you.
Interesting that you should call. It's fresh in my mind, all of the answers that you need.
So it's just a really funny, like things like that happen. I feel like for a reason, you know, because I needed to clearly check myself for being just too much yesterday morning. But it was quite funny, and I think that people do that. That happens to me a lot with you only. Really, it doesn't really happen at work. Like, but.
Well, what makes me laugh as we get into these conversations, well, I'll be working on like a thought or working on like through like psychology, so the psychology of mindset training and what's going on with a different topic, or is lying good and bad, and let's get into the why do people do what they do, and what's the emotional intelligence, breakdown so we can help people with motivation. Like, I'll be doing these thoughts all the time. And then I'll be playing them off of her, like, give me your opinion on what this thought is. And then later on, she'll say it like that was her thought of the day that she came up with. And I'll be like,
It's not true.
You have done this. All right, I'll give you an example. You can go back to one of our Wine Wednesdays where we were arguing for almost 2 hours on a separate stance. And when the camera started rolling, she said my point of view, and I could just sit there and go, I agree with you. We haven't agreed for 2 hours, but you just said what I've been saying, so now I agree.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You're so funny.
I was like, I don't want you to be wrong in the live. We'll
mind.
agree to disagree.
I don't
just
mind.
kidding.
Let's see what people
do.
are saying.
I think the more that you hear something, it's repetition, right? The more that you hear things, sometimes the more that it sticks. And you're right.
Sometimes people say, get over it. I believe they were referring to shit happens, and it's out of your control. Don't overthink it.
Absolutely.
Good job, Jeff.
Absolutely.
We must take a chance to make a choice to see the change. That's a very good sentence, Selena. We must take a chance to make a choice to see a change. That's awesome.
Must take a chance to make a choice.
To see a change.
I love it.
Yeah,
it's great.
Great. I like that.
I like it a
Mindset
lot.
training is really good. Sandy, you are fantastic, and yes, you've gone
Yes.
through all of our trainings. You've been kicking ass. You are also a warrior, and if you haven't seen how tough Sandy is. She's very
She's
tough.
tough.
Ben, he says, you are stubborn. No way. He knows you're stubborn. Lisa O'Neill says, I love that shirt. You guys on my car, so I actually just getting out to see you guys.
Oh,
I'm glad
thank you for
joined us,
complimenting
Lisa.
my shirt. There's some people that don't love it.
Lauren says it was a sign from above. You
I
were on
agree.
the outside
It's-
looking in.
It absolutely was, and that's actually what he said. It's a sign. I'm like, I needed that sign. Puts things in perspective real quick. So yeah.
You see,
Remi's
just got
on.
the
Hi, Remi.
Coles. Remi Coles is watching. Miss that guy. Cheers to you, bro. Haven't seen you in a while.
Bro, I can't.
What?
Cheers to you.
Is he not a bro? Should I use a different term here?
Nope, that was perfect.
Okay. So it's a good topic, and thank you guys for interacting with it, because it can get controversial pretty quick, and I think that that's the only thing that ever ends up being the argument when it comes into the choices thing, is when people say my emotions count more than the decisions. And I'm like, the decisions are still the decisions. Your emotions are just which direction you take your decisions in. Like, it's not harmful or happy or sad. It just is. It's just which way do you choose to handle it.
Mm-hmm. Heather
So-
said we both have given some looks, so drink. Okay.
Ooh, you're probably very right.
This drink is delicious.
Cheers to all of you. Thank you guys for being interactive on this thing. It does mean a lot to us to see you guys jumping in with the conversation. What about you guys? Give us a
Yes.
question. Give us something where, like, hey, you know, I want to hang out with you. What do you guys think about this? Or, you know what? My favorite ones are, if everything is a choice, what about this? Those are my favorite ones. I like being challenged. I have been challenged by the best of the best that I can think of, and it still ends up working out that there's always options, but I would love to see if anybody can stump that there aren't choices. That's just one of the things I'll throw out there. You don't have to. If you just got a question for us and go, hey, listen, you guys have been through a lot. What's next? What's going on with you guys the next thing? What's Just a Mile a Day got going on?
What things do you guys want to see happen?
What are your favorite things? What are the stuff that you want to see more of?
What do you find annoying?
What's the worst and you hate that stuff? We want to hear from you. What are some of the ideas that you have about just what can we do to make it better, or stuff that's annoying you that we can try to eliminate? And if it's a specific person who's not hurting anybody, we're not going to kick them out of the group, so don't do that. Again. As a joke.
Yeah,
Oh,
no one,
look at you giving me
no
a
one does
look.
that. No one does
Was
that.
does that count as a look? Anybody? Judges? Judges?
They maybe missed it.
We'll see, there's a delay. I feel like we're getting drink glasses in a second. I'm gonna get ready already. Oh, we should pause.
Screenshot.
Thank you, Heather. Screenshot. That's what you do, you screenshot for your pictures.
What are some of the...
What are some of the challenges in the future? Do you want to take it, or do you want me to do it? And I like Andrea's top.
Thank
yes,
you.
That look is a drink.
Thank you so much. Some people don't like it, like I said earlier. So thank you. I said I wear what I want. So I put it on, and I was like, I will wear it. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate that.
So, what are the challenges in the future? Do you want to take that
I
one?
think...
Or do you want me to do it?
No, I can do it. I think some of the challenges...
Oh, she means like Rocktober. Like,
Oh.
we have a lot of
It's a
stuff
big,
we're
different conversation. I'm
We
like,
are
I don't even
challenged on a
know
lot.
what is happening. So, well, I think that, you know, we did that big one that we had with the whole Isogenics group and team a couple months ago. This challenge we're having right now is really great. I think one thing that... He looks lovely. He
Thanks,
looks
Jeff.
lovely. You are absolutely right. You're right. And have you been working out?
Shush.
Have you?
Of course
been,
I am. I'm in the warrior
Have you been
workout.
working out?
I'm in the warrior workout.
That's my favorite thing to say to you. I do it even when we're not on camera. So, okay, so we have some new programs that are up and coming, which is very exciting. We won't
And
give out too much information.
Ben Pearson and
And-
I were talking about one today that we're going to work on in the future too. That might just be a standing one, but we can just work it out now on it. It's a cool one that Ben was throwing out some ideas.
Okay.
And for those of you who don't know who the amazing person Ben is, he's the guy in the wheelchair. People always say, hey, Just a Mile a Day is really great. You know who I love? The
Ben
guy in
Pearson.
the wheelchair. That's Ben Pearson. And so Ben and I were talking today, and he's been putting ideas up for a challenge. Now, Ben is a absolute go-getter. He is a very tough dude. He's in his wheelchair. He works on trying to get millions of steps, which is just cruising for miles in there, and it's not easy. For those of you who think that, like, oh, he's in a wheelchair, should be easier, you know what? I did a mile in a wheelchair. It's not easier. It's not. And so he's in full beast mode, and he's like, let's do a challenge where they can see if they can do more miles than me. And I'm like, no, because you'll do 100 miles in a day. We can't have you in the hospital. No, let's not do that. How about something where people can actually do your challenge? And the idea we came up with was being able to get people to join the 100 Club. And what that is the 100 days in a row, and we celebrate it in just a mile a day, is to get 100 days in a row streak. And it's gonna be the 100 days beat the beast streak mode, like beast mode, like Ben Pearson's always in this mode. If you can beat the beast, which is 100 days in a row, you join the elite club of all of the people who have the 100 tag in them. And we're going to be working into things where we can have people have milestones and badges and achievements, like 100 days, 200 days, 300 days, and we're going to have it so people will be like, you know, you can see like how far have people gone. I think breaking the first 100 is an awesome milestone. I would love to put Ben Pearson's name on being able to break through 100, and we may just make it an ongoing challenge. Like, are you going to beat the beast and go for 100? Now, it's going to be different than our monthly challenges, but this will be an ongoing. I'm going to try and beat the beast, but I'm also in Rocktober. I'm also in the Selfie challenge, whatever it would be.
Something you can do within the other challenges. So I love that. I think that's really great.
And no, you don't have to start over on your streaks. It just could mean, like, if you want to start over, that's fine. But it's really going to be like, can you break the 100 in a row?
Yeah.
And some of us have already broken 100 in a row. Some are at 700 in a row. It's really just the option to be able to say, if you haven't done it before, you get new people involved. Our 100 Club, I mean, there's got to be maybe only 30 or 40 people in it.
There's quite a few. And last week was a big week for Yeah, it's wonderful. I love that. Let's do that.
Yeah, and so
when do you want to start that?
Well, I mean,
very action. So I'm like, when's the date? When are we doing that?
We just came up with the idea today. So
November 1st?
I love your ambition, but let's make the other stuff work first, and then we can start setting this up. I haven't even made anything for it. This was just an idea that we talked about.
I love it. I love it. We can start that anytime. We can start that anytime. November 1st. We can start it. Okay, so I love that. So that's
one of the challenges we're thinking about. Something anybody can do.
We're doing
it's
that.
Just consistency.
We're doing that.
Build the habits.
I like it.
And Ben Pearson will be pushing everybody to say, "Can you get in the Beast Mode Club?"
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's so good.
So
Good.
Can you hang with the guy in the wheelchair?
So I would also like to ask you guys just a couple ideas out there that I want to throw out there at you guys. So around this time of year, it's mid-October, going into November, then we go into December, we have a lot of things working against us, right? We have the weather, it's cold, you don't feel like going to the gym, you don't want to do anything. Holidays, we tend to eat a little bit more. We tend to bundle up in our clothes. There's a lot of things that work against us during the holidays, right? People tend to gain weight during the holidays more than not, right?
Sure.
What is something that you guys would, well, let me share my idea first. So one of the ideas that I have, what?
Let me talk about my idea.
No, that was initially where I was going to throw something out there, and I would love their feedback.
Sure.
But what if we were to do something where we do a holiday, starting in November, do a holiday challenge, and we can keep the miles going, but also do a weight loss challenge too, not specific, and it's just on the honor system, who can maintain their weight or not gain weight or even lose weight for the whole month of November. We can do the same thing in December, so that way no one gains weight or minimal. Yeah, beat the holidays, something like that. Because as soon as January 1st comes, that's when you guys will start to see more people join the group. It gets really busy. And so we would start November 1st, right at the peak of the holiday season. Everyone's going to weigh themselves out at, recommend everyone measuring themselves. We will have a non-scale victory sheet as well.
We are working on being able to make this so you can download for free.
Yeah.
The non-scale
We can
victory sheet.
join teams, and we'll still have the mile challenge, but maybe we do a mile, and then we have groups, and we just continue to encourage everyone to make sure that we're making healthy choices. And no one has to post up their pounds or how much they weigh. We don't have to do any of that. It's really going to be on the honor system and the awareness of, okay, where are we at? What does this look like? And then at the end of 30 days, we'll share before and after pictures. So it's kind of what we do in the Warrior Month anyway. But
I don't know if we have to do before and after, because I think
if they want to, they can.
If you want to, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not a must.
We encourage anybody to be proud of themselves.
Yes,
of course.
yes.
But I can't say that we have to. Like, just
No.
if you can say, I've stuck to my goals, I've stuck to my guns.
I didn't say have. Say have.
I'm just-
I didn't say have to. It's an option.
Okay,
We do what
it
the
is.
people want.
Sure. I think it's a great idea. It's a really good idea. And I think that we could do a November through December challenge. We are going to build up for January, which are January. And we're going to do something really cool in January. And so maybe this could be like good challenges for us to have set up just to make it through the holidays. Low obligation, not going to be like Rocktober challenge where you have to do 3 miles a day. Oh, shoot. That was you.
That was me.
That was you. Always this way, right?
Yeah, I think it's funny when you approve my challenges. Like, I really think it's funny when I have an idea and you're like, well, we can do this. And I'm like, no, I am doing it. I also have access to everything you do for the most part. We're doing it. Giving the people what they want. You're welcome. You can't tell me we're not doing a challenge. Who are you?
The guy who made the whole thing.
Yes, you are. You made me the VP of everything.
I trust your decision.
So we're doing it.
I think it's a great idea.
I agree.
So that's why
Aggressively.
I approve it. That's why I approve
No,
it.
you are in. You don't approve my ideas. Stubborn. I know,
Yeah.
Get it.
If you say so.
Semantics.
You got it, love. So I think those are, Shelly, to answer your questions, those are a couple of the things that we're working on. The next 3 big challenges that we're doing, it seems like we're going to be pushing for large challenge like the Ben 100, the Beast Mode 100. We'll be doing the Beat the Holidays. I think that's a great idea. And then get ready for January, because on January we're going to be pushing for something pretty cool. January is going to be the next big competition. Yeah. We're going to try and get as many people to join Just a Mile a Day before January as we can, and we're going to do something during January to make it so that it's really, really fun for people to be able to get involved. So, it's going to be really cool. I think that is going to be a good thing. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's what the next challenges are looking like for the free stuff that we're going to be having. That's a fun way to go. It's the next fun steps. So good question, Shelly.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
So let's do it, guys. We'll have a weight loss challenge in November.
Oh.
Gear up. What?
We're doing a weight loss challenge.
Well, it's an overall challenge, but it's weight loss is in there. So I'll lay out the details and we'll get it started.
You just don't gain like 20 pounds during the next 2 months.
No one's going to.
I know. I believe in them.
Because we're all going to be there supporting each other, giving healthy tips and habits and all of the good things.
Heather says there's a ton of looks tonight. That's true. We're getting into it. Don't let us just
sassy.
talk. Don't let us just
No.
talk.
Drinks.
and drinking. So good. Well, great question. Give us another question, because we do love to serve you guys, and we want to make things as cool for you as possible. Give us a concern or something else that you want to know what's next, because we have a lot on the horizon and a lot of stuff we don't share yet, because I do like stuff to work before we start saying, hey, here's what we're doing next.
Yes. And I mentioned last week the commercial, and I'll mention again, will be happening as well. So we'll be asking for a lot of you guys and your support to be a part of the commercial.
What was it say?
We want to come see you, Rick.
Yeah, come. You guys are very welcome to come see us. Like, we would love to do miles, do workouts. We love spending time with all of our GM fam. So,
Yeah.
just let's figure out a day that you can come, and we'll do miles together, and we'll talk. A lot of time it always ends up turning into mindset training because that's the way that we work, because people are like, I'm going through this stuff, and then we usually, almost always, everybody gets into some sort of empowerment conversation. We end up helping people see it just a little bit differently, and they're powerful. In person is powerful, and we've had a lot of tears, a lot of breakthroughs, a lot of growth, a lot of love that comes from being able to hang out with us. And so we would love anybody to come and hang out with us. Oh, another thing that we're going to be working on, and we'll be working on it very soon,
Yes.
is what days we'll be doing Jamsgiving.
Yes.
That's going to be, we're going to have a Chicago and a Michigan Jamsgiving,
Yeah, we have to.
and we're going to get together, and that way we can just all get together, have some food together, get to hang out, and have some very, very good times together, and celebrate the year that we've had, the gains that we've had, and just hang out. Let's always hang out. Doesn't have to be fitness, doesn't have to be working out, just give thanks for being there with each other. And so we're going to do a Chicago group, and we're going to do a Detroit group. And so for those of you who want to come and see us, we'll be putting up what days those are. Because
Yes.
we need to do that.
Yes.
Not on Thanksgiving Day, because obviously everybody's obligated, but we'll figure out days that aren't Thanksgiving so you can come and hang
It's gonna
out.
be really great. I'm excited.
looking forward to
I'm
those.
excited. And yes, kids can come too, of course.
Yes, we'll be probably having the
course.
kids too. So
Yeah.
we can make it a madhouse. Well, Jamsgiving is going to be at Chuck E. Cheese, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That's not real. That's not a real thing. That was a joke.
Yeah.
But thanks for going with that one.
You're welcome.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Cheers to that.
I'm going to have lots of muscle mass. I hope so. Sounds good. We'll pump some iron together. Everybody thinks that we are just regular folks until they get to do a couple of reps with us, and they go, "You guys are crazy people." Even big as muscle dudes come and do jamming excuses workouts and go, "Jesus, this is tough."
It's tough. Yeah.
That took 15 minutes, and I am sweating like crazy, and I'm like, so jam strong. I love it.
Have you been working out?
Yeah, I did one today.
Today was rest day for Warriors.
If you're on day 43
If you're on
or
month
something.
2, yeah. Yeah. It's always a good day.
Rest day's your favorite.
Rest
It's your
day.
favorite workout.
It's my favorite day.
Just do your mile. So good question. Awesome. These are great. Yeah. Yes, we work on a lot of stuff for the future, and we're gonna get better and better at it. We are working on a lot of website stuff right now. Lately, we are working on a lot of back end stuff, and Warrior Month is going really well. So more people will be able to do that soon. We are going to push that out to 90 days. If you just want to do 30 days, that's fine. If you want to do 90 days, we will give you a bigger discount. But people are crushing it. Sandy is one of them. She's been doing
Absolutely.
really great.
Shelly's asking how your challenge is going against Will.
Against Will, he's doing.
I just asked about that today, actually.
It's I'm gonna spill a little bit of beans on this guy because we just talked yesterday, and he said that he can just do powerlifting and change his diet and hit his goals. And just yesterday, he was like, "Listen, I gotta do some of the stuff that you said that I need to do to get my goals because my gains are not doing what they're supposed to do. I'm looking blocky. I'm not looking clean. It looks sloppy. I'm just looking like clumsy and big." I was like, "I gotta start doing higher reps." I'm like, "I told you from the beginning that's where you
Yeah.
have to go." And he
Yeah.
started to change his workout into what I told him he should do. So I'm excited to see him have positive gains, but it's definitely going the way I told him that it would.
Have you posted your 30-day results yet?
I did in the group, and I'll post it again. My 30 days is pretty
It's
noticeable.
really great.
It's very noticeable.
Yeah.
And so tomorrow I'll put up the 30 days. What does 30 days of doing our Warrior workouts look like? I wasn't in the worst shape to start off with, but it's definitely better afterwards. And so I encourage anybody, if you just want to break your plateau, that's what that is for, and it freaking works.
It really does.
Anybody who does that, you broke your plateau.
Yes,
I broke
finally.
through my plateau, it's noticeable.
Yes.
The Warrior workouts are no bitch.
Absolutely. And so whoever wants to join us for Warrior workouts, come on. We would love to have you. There's, I think, 5 of us that are doing, 5 or 6 of us that do it. So
Right on, Chris. Thanks. Thanks. Let's see what we got, Heather. Warrior workouts. I love picking Rick's brain when I am stuck in my own head. He kicks my butt into reflection and growth.
Absolutely.
Good call. And you're right. It does. It's Heather. I do like talking to you, and
Yes,
I'm really,
agreed.
I'm really happy when. Good night, Jeff. Have a good
Good
one, bud.
night.
Love you too. I'm really happy when I get to see people who go like, you know what? I'm at the point where I don't think I know everything. So what do you think? And then when people go like, well, here's what works best for the clients and the people that we have, try that. And then I go, holy crap, that worked.
Right.
I feel so much better. My relationship is so much stronger. I can understand where my husband or wife is coming from. I can see that the problem I had was on me to fix it, and I did. And those things are the things that made it very powerful. So Heather, I'm very grateful for you being in touch with us and hanging out with us and having some mindset days with us on top of the workouts. And so I'm really happy to see people rocking Rocktober, but also the mindset stuff it's proving 100% effective for everybody who does it.
Mindset is truly where you should start. If you're not already doing a mile a day, you absolutely can do that too. But that's where I start, mile a day and mindset training. And it's truly, that is where most of the impact is going to happen, because if you're someone that has tried to lose weight many times and are just having a rough time with life stuff or even weight loss stuff, you have to get this right first for everything else to follow. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that.
Yeah, it's powerful. So strong. So strong. And
it's for men too.
yeah, we have
Putting it out there.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to make our own separate men's group. We had an opportunity that kind of fell through for some of the guys that were gonna do it, but I think that's something that for me, and I'm gonna vent for you guys just a little bit. There's so many programs for women these days, and there's a million of them. There's always something for women to join into a million tribes and groups and support things, and there's not as many things for guys. But here's a shocker. We are also people. Like all men, we're people too. We do things in a different way than women, but we still have feelings, we still have emotions. But ever since we were little boys, we're told we're not supposed to show them. And unfortunately, even from you women, if a guy shows too much emotion, he becomes undesirable, almost like a pansy, and he's not attractive, or he gets friend zoned. And so we're not allowed to show those emotions that we have. And there has to be a place for guys to sort it out where we can be vulnerable so we can be stronger. And we're going to be working on stuff like that too, because, even for statistically, like there is a massive rise in physical abuse in relationships against men, where there are good guys out there getting hit by women because they won't hit women back. And while it's perceived for some reason as weakness by these people, it's really strength that they show the restraint to not beat up somebody that they could beat up because they love them. And that's a crazy thing to make fun of or to beat somebody down for. But these men are emotionally and physically beaten down. And they found that for women's shelters, for abusive relationships or abusive dynamics, there's over 2,000 places in the country for women to be able to go. And in this country for men, where statistically the numbers are rising almost to be equal, there are only 2 places in the country for men to be able to go, which is why men have such a high suicide rate in comparison to women, because there's just no place for a guy to be able to go to. How can I take my power back in this? How can I find myself again? How can I get control of this? And anybody who they try to talk to, it's perceived as weakness instead of strength, and that's wrong. Having the courage to have vulnerability is something that it takes guts to do. And there has to be a place where guys can go, I'm going through some real stuff right now, and can anybody relate? And so many guys can. And the thing is there are bad guys that ruin it for good guys, because they'll say the same lines that good guys say and then do bad things, and it messes up the whole program for everybody. We can't be emotionless monsters. We're not drones. We still have feelings, we still have emotions. There's got to be a place for guys to be able to take their power back, to say, I am me and I believe in what I believe in and I'm trying to do my best. There has to be a place for that. So we have to separate where women have a different set of worries than men do. And so we will separate that, and we're going to develop a men's program for the mindset training because the topics are very different. The emotions around the topics are very different, and the way to sort it out is very different. If I try and talk to a woman like I should, like to solve it like a man would, it's going to be a very different emotional connection to it.
Right.
And that's why we have two different groups. So right now the women's group is killing it. They really are. The women have statistically through Just a Mile a Day shown that they are truly badasses. The women who stay, there's a lot of quitters, but the people who don't quit show that they're truly warriors. And even in the Warrior Month, like the Warrior Month is no bitch. Like if anybody thinks
It's
that like
so
these workouts are easy, like I challenge any of you muscle dudes to do the Warrior workouts. Challenge thrown out there. Challenge you to do our 60 days right now of Warrior workouts and tell me
We'd love to
that
have
it's
you.
easy. That was easy. Because there's workouts like I like working out, and I've had some of these days where I send messages to the girls in this group like, if you guys really did this, you guys are the toughest girls ever because I'm dying and I made the damn workout. like it's tough. There's some tough days. And so there's just a lot of stuff going on with what we're working on next. And the mindset stuff is going to be where we put a lot more focus because people know how to work out. They know to do their mile. They know to do squats. They know they should be doing push-ups. They know they should be doing cardio. And it's not knowing what to do that stops people. It's being able to break through the habits or the mindset or the things that set us back that stop us. And that's what we're going to be working on the most, is helping people get through their own stuff, to get out of their own way, to be able to even do just a mile a day. It doesn't have to be do a 2-hour workout a day. Just get your mile in at least.
Right. 1 mile a day. And naturally, if you do a mile a day long enough, you will then start to feel like, I need more. And then you'll start doing the workouts. And it continuously happens. And if you're not working out at all, just start doing 1 mile a day.
Wow.
Start there. It's
Walk
free.
and run it.
Start
You don't
there.
have to, it's not a race. Just do your best.
Right.
If you gotta walk, you gotta walk. If you can run, you can run. Like if
If you don't like to run, walk.
walk fast. Just walk as fast as you can. Like it's just
Skip.
Yeah,
Doesn't
do
matter.
your way. It's all
Yeah.
good. But yeah, the mindset stuff, and truly to be open about this, it's really raised all the work I've been doing and all the research I've been doing to make this thing as strong as it is. And it is different from other people's stuff. A lot of us all use the same terminology for specific points, but this is done in I try to streamline the most simple, direct way to say, how can you do something today to make it different? And I'm very grateful to say that it's working, like working. Last night we had a mindset training, and just seeing like one of the people on the group, I won't say any names, but one of the people started off like depressed. And within 6 weeks, that's not the same human being. They're like, let me tell you how I took my power back. Let me tell you how I caught myself in these moments. Let me tell you how that training for awareness changed everything in the way I see my own stuff now. And they're positive, and their energy is good, and their smile is back, and
energy difference,
doing
everything,
things.
everything. And it's like, and I could talk about this topic forever with mindset training, but if you've lived your life for this long, right, and we've developed these patterns and habits and everything else, it's very hard to change it, right? So if you have the ability to live a healthier life and to work on yourself for you to make things better, I don't understand why we wouldn't. And a lot of people don't. We live our lives and we choose to complain or not be in the right mind space or health wise, but we don't action anything. And being in mindset training definitely helps open your eyes up to things that sometimes you knew were there, but they were so deep, you were like, where did this even come from?
And
then you started healing. And being almost 40 years old myself, I'm like, I didn't realize I didn't know myself that well. A couple of years ago when I was going through it with him, I was like, man.
Yeah, you were one of my
Keep
clients.
that down in there.
When we started, she was one of my clients, and she started off, as a one-on-one client, and we went through a lot of her stuff during an extremely difficult time, and she came out strong. Now, I just got to give you a disclosure as far as how mindset training works for any of you women who want to join in the mindset training. If you become a one-on-one client, the odds of us dating like Andrea and I is not likely. This is not the way the program works. So I just want to go ahead and give a disclaimer that this does not end this way. So that's a joke, but just want to be silly. She was a client and now we're together, so that's not the way.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for being incredible.
I was like, would you stop asking me out? Oh my gosh, fine, I will date you.
Drink.
Just kidding.
Dork.
When people ask for dating, I'm like, he keeps asking me. I keep telling him, no.
Silliness.
Yeah, you're silly.
All right, but in which case, that's an hour in. Thank you guys for joining us on another Wine Wednesday. Thanks for hanging out with us, and I hope that you guys at least got a little bit out of this, or at least got to see things in a slightly different way. So appreciate all the time that you put into it.
Yep.
And do you have any closing thoughts that you want to say?
No, thanks you guys for hanging out with us tonight on Wine Wednesday, and we appreciate every single one of you guys.
All right, so for those of you who have not gotten out to it yet, I want to be able to say to all your friends and to say your family, and for the next challenge that we're coming up, if they're like, what do we got to do here? It's pretty easy. You just get off the jam couch.
And do the jam thing. Bye, guys.
Oh, let's hit the button.